Today we're going to talk about the applications of linear graphs. And linear graphs, if you look at that word, you can see line right in there. So graphs of lines. And this begins on page 326 of your pre-algebra textbook, and it is in Unit 10 of the K-12 curriculum on your OLS. And starting with some vocabulary, interpolation. And you can kind of see interp, or like interpret, inferring or estimating an unknown value that's between known values. So if you're using a graph, you can see that there's not going to be actual points plotted. However, you can kind of figure out, if you're looking at a graph and you see how the graph is going, you could, from that, figure out or estimate a value as long as you know it's between two other values. So if we had one value here we were looking at and one here, you probably would do a good job at figuring out what value would be between them. Let's say if we were here and we wanted to know what value was right here. So it's between known values. You can figure out by using your inference or estimating that value. And extrapolation, if you extrapolate information, that is inferring or estimating, or we could even say predicting an unknown value that is outside known values. Another vocabulary word, since we've used this in the previous two definitions, inferring, that's making an educated guess. So not a random guess, but an educated guess. So based on the information that you have, what is your best thought at the proper answer? So sometimes guess, people think that is just throwing anything out there, but an educated guess, what you think the correct answer actually would be. So if we were to interpolate information, finding a value between two known values, we could look at the information that is plotted here, and if we were trying to then figure out when x is 2, what is y? So if we would go over to 2 and we would go up and then try to estimate, it looks like it's about 2.5 where that would potentially cross the line there. So that is interpolating because we have looked between two known values. If we were to instead try to figure out when x was 6, what would y be? So we go way out here to 6, and based on how the line is starting to go, even though we've had a kind of a little swoop there, I would estimate that y is also 6. Looks like we've gotten on kind of a nice streak there. So that is extrapolation, because this value we predicted was not between two known values. And to wrap things up, we will just take a quick review of our vocabulary. If we break this up here, inter would mean between. That's from Latin, like an interstate, takes you between states. And you can kind of see here pole or polar, and that means point. So if we put those two together, between point. And extra would mean outside, like an extraterrestrial, a being living outside our Earth, and points. So outside the points. And again, inferring based on what you know, you're making an educated guess. So not some random wild guess, but educated. Okay, so you should be all set to apply what you know about linear graphs and interpolate or extrapolate information from them. Have a good day.